I'd like to call the Bluff City Board of Mayor and Alderman regular meeting Tuesday, December the 3rd, 2019, 6 p.m. to order. Sharon?
Alderwoman Key.
Here.
Alderman Rolls.
Here.
Vice Mayor Harrington.
Here.
Alderman Ward.
Here.
Alderman Bowling.
Here.
Okay, we'll have a prayer by Alderwoman Carol Keith. An immediate following pledge allegiance to the flag.
In the name of Jesus, dear Heavenly Father, we come to you, Lord, in the only way that we know how, asking you to please forgive us for all of our sins. Father, we praise you, we exalt you, God, for you are so good and you're so worthy to be praised. Lord, I ask, God, that you will help us to be the people that you've called us to be. Father God, I ask that you bless each and every person in here and the balance of our families. Lord, I ask that you bless this meeting, Lord. Father God, help us to do, Lord, what is right and pleasing unto you. I ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a business meeting, not a court of law. Welcome each of you here tonight. Anyone wanting to comment has 3 minutes in the first session and 3 minutes in the second session. Come to the podium, give your name, address, and phone number. Citizen comments. Board members do not have to comment during comment session unless they want to. Board members, raise your hand to be recognized. This will eliminate interruptions. No talking during the meeting. If you want to talk while the meeting is going on, you must go outside or to the hallway. Others want to be able to hear. You can be asked to leave if you are out of order. Once the business session starts, you will not be able to interrupt. You will need to wait until your second session. If you have a request for information, you must come to the office at the City Hall during office hours, 8 a.m. until 4:30 p.m., Monday through Friday, and fill out the proper papers. We're down to citizen comments, first session. Come to the podium, give your name, address, and phone number.
Joy McCarty, 209 Smith Street Extension, 538-7931. I just want to mention, I've been trying for the last 20 years, I'd say, wondering if try to get a sign, slippery when wet, on Hostin Ave, and you go around the curve there from the park where the mirror is. When it rains, it gets very slippery, and in the winter, black ice is there. And if you come over the tracks coming towards the park, halfway there, it does the same. And the only reason I'm asking, another car has gone in there, and since I've lived here, about 10 so far, and 2 of them come mighty close to the homeowner's home, and I'm just concerned that somebody eventually is going to end up in the home. Or place, I'm familiar with it, and I even forget once in a while. So I'm just asking mainly because people that's not familiar with it or out of town or just some forget, But it's got much better, though, since you lowered the speed limit to 15.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have a comment?
David Marmon, 200 Coastal Drive. Mr. Bowling, last meeting I attended, y'all were talking about the War Memorial, and I asked you about a playground for the kids down at the park. What kind of research did you do, and what did you come up with? You said you was going to research it. Remember you told me you'd look into that, and you'd let me know the next time you saw me. I was just asking you about that.
Mayor requests to be recognized.
Yes.
Well, I'm Mr. Broyles.
Broyles, I'm sorry. What did I call you?
From Jeff.
Okay.
What we've done so far, and just kind of bring you up to speed, is that the only thing we have accomplished that is real is that whatever state the memorial or whatever project we decide to pursue goes in, we do have an architectural firm that's going to support us and be able to draw those plans. Right now, it's out to the citizens. We decide monetarily how the funds are spent, that I've solicited social media, calls, emails, and out on the street, I'm sure my fellow board members have too, just to figure out exactly what it will look like. Some would like a Veterans Memorial, thus far. Some would like a memorial in plain, and some like others. Right now, the bulk of who we spoke to, at least from my perspective as the project's lead, is that everyone would like a Veterans Memorial. There's another piece to it. What location would it be? That's up for conjecture as well. Some citizens would like to see it down next to the pavilion. Some would like to see it here near the City Hall. Some have even mentioned the swinging bridge there as you come on to the trail. All we're doing now, Mr. Harmon, is just soliciting information, and no decision has been made.
None whatsoever.
No, sir.
Okay, because I was in the understanding that you would check prices and everything and see if it was physically possible. Have I taken up too much time?
No, still good. Yeah, we're still good. No, sir. Like I say, it's public knowledge that we have $15,000 to get the project started. Unfortunately, the drawing, and I'm not taking credit upon myself, I was able to get that done pro bono, which will save us.
Drawing for a memorial?
Yes, sir. Or whatever we decide to do. That drawing will be done pro bono. We can't even begin until we have a concept.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. Okay. If we don't have anyone else. Oh, okay. Come to the podium.
Some or all of you may remember me being here at the meeting last month at the end of the meeting. Okay. I'll fumble through this, and I want to thank you for the time to speak, everybody, and your service. You take your personal time out to serve on this board, and it's greatly appreciated. You do a lot of good work. This is partially about 528 Ridgeview Circle, Unit Number 10 water meter. I asked to be on tonight's agenda for the meeting, but I was told no, but I could stand up and talk for 3 minutes. I don't know why, because I think this is important. I had several questions I needed information about, and I don't think 3 or 4 minutes would cover my questions and answers. I understand the water department is replacing water meters to customers. Maybe everybody knows it, maybe they don't. What is the criteria as to what customer would receive a new meter? That's one of my questions.
The ones that would be up to the water department.
We ran through, and that meter is shown not to be reading. The radio is not reading. That's when those radios basically get replaced. So basically, when the battery dies.
Okay, that's something I really don't understand about. Okay, but I wanted help in correcting the bill and getting an adjustment for my bill. Okay. I understand that the water department is replacing the meters. Okay, we got to that. And then the criteria, how many new meters have been installed? Can you answer that?
We've installed around 475.
Okay.
If you don't mind, let me just explain something real quick, Dee. The radio on the meter, what that does is it transmits and tells the computer what the reading is.
Mm-hmm.
When the radio goes down, it doesn't mean that your meter is still not working or it cannot be read, because we can go back out and manually read that meter. So we can still get an accurate reading, and we can still tell how much water went through it as long as the meter has not stopped or broke.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Well, when I was notified about this problem, of course I came down here, and they said I could meet Alan up at the apartments. There's a cluster of meters. There's 6 meters there, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 14 and 15. And we didn't put in a 13. We didn't feel that would be rentable. Anyway, and on around November 5th, I'll say first that I had continued to pay the minimum bill. The bill on that unit, 5 times since the 1st of January of 2019, it reported no usage, but the minimum bill was paid. And the way you explained how the reason that they were replaced was something about a battery, so I'm not going to get into that. Don't need to.
Okay, your 3 minutes is up. You have a second session at the end. Thank you. Do we have anyone else that has a comment?
Brian Hunt, 191 Lakeview Drive, Bluff City, Tennessee. Had a water line break at our house, and it was our responsibility. It was on our side of the meter. Long story short, this water line break ran into 2 water bill cycles. I come down and I spoke with Irene yesterday. She was gracious enough to give me some of her time. We had an adjustment on the last bill. I was informed that we were only allowed 1 adjustment per calendar year. My biggest thing is on our water bill and utilities that we pay to the city, we're billed on water, sewer, garbage, and something else, taxes. Am I correct in saying our sewer bill that we're charged is based off the amount of water that we use? That's correct. And that is for the use of the sewer department, correct?
Yes.
My argument is this water did not go into the sewer.
It costs double to treat sewage than it does to treat water.
Well, if we want to talk about treatment, and no offense to you, Al, I got a lot of respect for you. When this was put in on November the 4th, we had to have a sediment filter put in because we've had to replace every toilet valve 3 or 4 times. Every faucet filter clogs up. And I have pictures if you'd like to look. Since November the 4th, this water line is 128 feet long. And when I had it put in, I had put 2 in to prevent this again. Since November the 4th, this sediment filter is already past replacing due to the amount of dirt and iron particles in the water. So if we're talking about, stuff like that.
Okay. Okay, that gives you 3 minutes, so you have.
He's still got time.
Yeah, I still got time. I'm petitioning the city council to adjust my sewer rates or reimburse me for the sediment filter that I had to have installed.
That's a tax benefit.
And furthermore, this gentleman right here has probably built over 100 homes in this city. And I have known this man since I was very small. My father used to work for him. If this man comes in here and says he's got a legitimate gripe, he deserves to be on the docket and recognized. So I'm petitioning the city for adjustment on my sewer bill.
For the second month. You said you got it adjusted for the first month. Well, your break ran into 2 months.
Correct.
You only get 1 adjustment a year.
I'm petitioning the city council for a second adjustment.
I will tell you all. Even though his 3 minutes is up. He has signed this that he has no leaks, but all the water went through the meter. I have no reason to give him an adjustment since there was
I'm not
no
asking
leaks.
for an adjustment on the water. I'm asking for an adjustment on the sewer because I didn't use it.
Well, we just go by the ordinance. And
right. And there again, I'm petitioning the city council for a second adjustment on my sewer, which therefore by law, the mayor does not have a veto over the city council's vote.
Paul Fry, with the
Is
water,
there some way we could? Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, with the water, when we do a water adjustment, doesn't the sewer coincide with the water adjustment?
The ordinance would cover it.
Yeah, it did.
The code covers how you do adjustment.
So whenever we done his first adjustment, the sewer was adjusted as well?
Also, yes.
So, but if you have a break like he did, and say it starts on the 15th of January, and then it ends on the 15th of February, you can only get your January. Well, I'm just saying that.
Well, I'd have to review.
Time.
I'd have to review the code to answer.
Because it's got it here.
Because if it's the same leak, I don't see why you couldn't adjust it for the same leak. Now, if it was 1 month you had a break, and then all of a sudden, and you put a little foot section in there and just patch it, then you get a break down here. I understand.
Yeah, I
But
put
if it's-
128 feet
Yeah.
of 2 3/4-inch PEX lines. I've got a spare one there in case it breaks again. I hook it on at the meter. It's run through the house, and I hook it in at the pressure reducing valve. That way I don't have to dig up my yard again.
When you came down to ask for an adjustment,
For 2 months.
did Sandy not ask you if you wanted it at that time? Because she told me that she did.
She asked me if I wanted an adjustment, and I said yes. And she said, I'll have to present it to the mayor, and she'll be back with you. And that was on the 5th. And on the 11th, I had to call back. We did not get an answer. On the 14th, we finally got an answer because the bill was due on the 15th. So,
Well, I didn't see the adjustment until she finished with it. But she did tell me that you asked for the adjustment at that time. Because we can do 2 months. But she
You can do
stated that
2 months?
that you asked for it to take place at that time.
well, if you can do 2 months, that's not one adjustment per year.
You have to do it one
No,
time. 2
it's
months.
still just one time if it's running over. But since you asked for it at that specific time, she went ahead and did it.
Right, because, I mean, who wouldn't ask for it? You had a $300 increase in your utility bills.
Basically, what she's saying, if you waited till you got your second water bill, then they could have adjusted the total thing.
That's my
Yeah.
understanding.
Right, but we were not informed that.
Yes.
Because that's what I was sitting there reading. It says water leaks adjustments for leaks on customer side of the meter will be limited to 2 consecutive billing periods for any one leak.
Well, right there, it's in black and white.
But when you ask for the adjustment, I think is what caused the problem.
Yes.
Read that verbiage again.
Yes, the verbiage is that adjustments for leaks on the customer side of meter will be limited to 2 consecutive billing periods for any one leak. But when you asked for your adjustment, it was prior to getting the next month's bill, before the leak went on to the next bill, correct?
So why would anyone in their God-given right state of mind pay a $400 water bill?
Well, you'd have to know when the time period of the leak was, that if you thought it was going to coincide onto the next water bill, then you would have asked for an adjustment
Right.
on 2 months' bills.
Just like this gentleman went through at the last month, and I'm not pointing any fingers,
Right.
but it took probably 20 minutes for everybody to decide when the billing cycle starts, when it ends, when the cutoff date is. So, I mean, if we had been informed when I come down here and ask for an adjustment, hey, Brian, wait until you get your next bill because this has happened on this day, we'll cover all that on one adjustment. We were never told that. I'm not asking for an adjustment on my water bill. I'm asking for an adjustment on my sewer bill.
Let's see, you got both at the same time.
I'm petitioning the city council for an adjustment on my sewer bill. The water, I took care of it. It was my responsibility. The sewer, I was not.
We
It
would
went
have
to ground.
to.
And
We
you
would.
wasn't using the sewage.
No.
Well, you shouldn't be required to pay for it, really, in my opinion.
Paul Fry.
We did it based on he asked for it at that time. She went ahead and did it at the time. If he had waited, then it would have been 2 months that was the adjustment. But she told me that he wanted it right then, and she did it right then.
But in his defense, he didn't know that he was going to have water on the next bill too.
Exactly.
Because you don't know, unless you really study them,
Exactly.
you don't know when the cutoff date. You don't know when they're red. You got to look. Then he'd have to know when his break was.
I would have to review it, but I think 2 consecutive months would be considered one adjustment
Yes,
with a
it
leak.
is.
Right. So 2 consecutive months would be, I should fall under 2 consecutive months.
So can you adjust the adjustment?
We don't usually,
Can
if, you know,
But in the
they ask for whether they want to wait or if they want to go ahead, because she tells them
No,
that.
you asked if you wanted
No.
to wait.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Paul Fry, how do you interpret this?
Well, I think let me look at the ordinance and the code, because it's been amended since what we have in the code book, and we may be able to remedy this situation, but I need to review it.
And when will we
Okay.
know something?
When I review it.
Okay, thank you.
We'll get it.
No answer? Other
Well,
than-
he doesn't know exactly. I mean, he's a part-time attorney. He's not a full-time attorney.
Right. Once again, I am petitioning the City Council of Bluff City for an adjustment to my sewer bill for sewer that I did not use.
Mayor, request be recognized.
Yes.
Brian,
second it.
we're
We don't
I
have
hear
to have
you.
a second.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Have to be seconded?
No,
No.
she said
I
that.
just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that you know that I'm standing with you.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
We
we
just,
need to.
the thing about it is, if we break one ordinance, we're gonna break them all. You can hear the way this board is speaking back to you. Allow us the time to make sure that we're following the right legal parameter.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Can we
I
get
know
a
you
can we
waited
get a
what?
grace period on our utility bills until a decision is made? Because I don't want to pay it. I'm not throwing darts, but I don't want to pay it and say, well, he's already paid it. Let's just say no, we ain't doing it.
Well, we have to follow the ordinance.
Yes.
Well, whatever it is.
So it's
period.
not that.
And I will review it, and I'll advise the mayor on it.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any other?
I won't be admitted. I'm Diane Slagle. I'm Mrs. Bob Slagle. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that pump station that Bob had mentioned before. The agreement was made between the City of Bluff City and Bob Slagle that he would put in this pump station. It was $52,000. And that when he was going to build a house and applied for the permits, that he would get his tap fees waived because of the $52,000 that the city didn't have the money to pay him. So that's how they were going to pay him back, was every time in Union Park, when that was done, he got his sewer tap, and they were supposed to take that money off the $52,000, okay? And it seems to me like that it couldn't negate an agreement because elected officials change. Existed agreements were voided, lost, or forgotten, it seems, in our case. And I had a question. I said, does that mean money owed by citizens with properties or monies due in Bluff City, are they forgiven balances with the change of the officials? And I don't think so.
No.
All right. There's approximately 45 houses in Union Park that the city's been collecting property taxes on for several years now. All of this wouldn't have been possible if it hadn't been for Bob spending $52,000 of his money to put in that pump station, with that repayment being tap fees. Bob had to pay an additional 4 lots in order to be able to build the house to get the building permits that he should have already been given credit for because of this pump station. And he was forced into paying them again. Ladies and gentlemen, that was not right. There should be a moral code that says when city council changes or mayors or city managers or whatever changes, that the agreements that are in place still are in place. Because you're not going to be on this board for probably 30 years, right? You want to fool with it for 30 years. So I state to you, Bob was told about this unit number 10. If the water went through the pipes, then the money's owed. Well, I can tell you the same thing. The sewer's flowing through the pipes from Union Park due to the pump station being put in, and Bluff City owes Bob Slagle back that money where he had to pay twice when it should have been taken care of. Seems to me there would be a moral imperative here that each consecutive board would be bound by existing agreements. And I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next.
Kathy Leonard, 316 McClellan Lane. I'd like to question you all. Why do we have a 3-minute limit when you get up here to talk? When you've got this gentleman here, his problem is so severe. Why couldn't he just continue? I don't see that. To me, that's rude to set a fella down or a lady down that's got a legitimate problem. The citizens, he's got a legitimate problem. Why can't he talk it out? Why do we have to stick with that 3-minute? You let people from outside the city come in here and go on and on and on about stuff. I sat here and watched it month after month. But you let one of our citizens come in here. Nope, you put the bell on them and you're out here. You sit down. What is that about the 3-minute rule for citizens? Tell me. Does anybody know? I think it should be stopped. I really do. It's a shame that the citizens don't have enough time to come in here and express the problems that we do have. And Mr. Burfield, is he here tonight?
No,
I'd like to say,
tonight.
Well, he's doing a wonderful job with the tickets. All the summons he's put out on these people about the trash and the cars and everything. So far, we had a real good court last week, didn't we not? Was anybody here? You were here. The judge is fair, and I hope he keeps up doing the same thing for months and years, how long it takes. I hope, if I live to see it, that the whole city gets cleaned up. I really do. He's doing a wonderful job.
Ms.
Thank
Singer, you asked, did anybody know why? I don't want anybody to label me with everybody else because I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
People need more than 3 minutes.
Exactly.
Also, but I do want you to know this, that the board is over the city manager. And if the city manager say it's 3 minutes, the board goes along with it. I don't agree with it, but the board do what the city manager says.
Does
I
the
don't agree
citizens
with
not ever have a vote in anything that,
But I'm only one coach.
But the citizens, we can't vote and say, hey, we don't like this. Can we do something about it? Can we change this
Is it
rule?
ordinance or what is it? Is it
Well, an audience, if I'm not, correct me, Mr. Weaver, if I'm wrong, it just takes 3 board members to vote for
The
a change.
change. So I'm
That's all
asking
it
you to
takes.
vote for a change then. I'm
Okay,
still
let's
through.
not both persons be talking at the same time.
But it
Yes.
can be changed.
Well, then I'm asking for it to be changed because
I'll
it's
put
very
in for a
rude.
motion for it.
Okay.
The way it works in other county meetings is that once their time is up, they do have a designated amount of time. They can ask for an extension from one of the board members, but we don't have that in our ordinances.
We need to put that in there.
Correct, Paul Fry? That's how it is in some instances.
Oh, I don't know.
I know it is for Sullivan County.
Can I ask one more
have-
question? What do you have to do to get on the docket or whatever you call it in order to be able to speak longer if you have a problem that you can't do in 3 minutes?
Well, we have citizen comments. I mean, you know.
That's it. There's no way.
And you
to
have
get-
3 more minutes at the end, too.
Okay.
That's the way it's set up in the ordinance. Okay, next.
Regular scheduled meetings.
Give your name, address, and phone number.
Christine Humphrey, 365 Cedar Street. You know who I am. You remember Jonathan, me and Jonathan. We have a question. Do they read the meter or they estimate it?
No, they read the meters.
Because last month it was 44 and this month it's 128 and we don't have a water leak. And in January, February, March it was 99 and then it went back down to normal, which was 65 with the same 3 people, same usage all the time.
What is your name again?
Christine Humphrey. Yeah, most of
Humphrey.
this is
You
sewer.
say
The high part on here is the sewer.
Yeah, that's sort of the high part.
And what is your address?
365 Cedar Street.
We can have them to check your meter.
Well, that's what I was told in January, February, March when it went up too, and they'd let me know something, but nobody ever did. So I just assumed everybody was paying extra on the sewer lines or something. So nobody ever called us back. But it was okay until, like I said,
Can I
last
have your
month, 44,
phone number and
Yes,
I'll
sir.
check into it.
423-306-9080. And a lot of the neighbors have been complaining too about theirs, so I don't know, but they probably won't come down here. But so I don't know if they're just guessing,
Well,
estimating.
they
or-
can call the city hall and they can fill out a form
I know
and they'll
a
check
lot of them are
them.
just figure they just have to do it and just have to pay it, whatever. But that's too big a jump from 44, which I don't know why it was that low because usually it's always 65 and jump up to 128. We just want
And
to know if they're
sometimes it's not read at the same time. If
Yeah,
they
it's
have
still-
something that comes up, then it might be more days that month than it was the
Well, one day,
one.
one day it's more, but it doesn't even tell you on here whether you estimate or read it. It doesn't say that.
We read them all the time.
Okay. Well, I never knew, but I just
No
don't understand
estimate.
why there was such a big jump like this when we didn't. We checked. There's no leak.
It should
Yeah.
say on there too. I'm sorry.
We've had people
We've
to
got 32 on this one. Last one, 31.
tell people that we estimate, but we don't estimate.
Okay. Well, what do I need to do about this then?
Well, Alan can have it read, but you
Okay.
need to go to City Hall and fill out the form.
Okay. All right.
But
then.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, who was out next? No, yours will be at 3 minutes at the end. Okay, who's next? Okay. We'll move on to,
She's got one. Yeah.
okay.
So these water meters have the radios. Do they notify you when there's a water leak?
We'll get a ping if there is a water leak, but that's hard to judge because you could be taking a shower at the time I come by and read.
So somebody's water bill going from 30
I don't know the
to 150 wouldn't like.
I can't answer that. I don't know what the usage in that household is. I don't know.
So it just notifies you and you go out and look?
Yes,
And if it's
whenever the reading gets back to Sandy or whatnot, if the reading is way out of range, then that will flag us to go out. Get them.
So why wouldn't somebody have come to my house? Because it was super duper out of range. I mean, way out of range.
Like I said, I don't know. When the last time you power washed, I don't know what you.
But you just said it pings you if it's out of
It'll
range.
Ping. No, I said it'll ping if it indicates there's a leak. If that meter's spinning at the time I ride past, then that'll ping as a possible leak. And then once it gets to Sandy, if there seems to be an issue, she will dispatch us back.
Well, I'm sure it was pinging. From $80 to $300 is
Well, you had a leak.
wrong.
You had a leak.
You should come down and fill out a form if you think you have a leak.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why we want our sewer adjusted the second time. 'Cause we didn't
Okay.
use it.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else? If not, we'll move on to discussion and action on the regular meeting minutes of November the 5th, 2019. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, take a vote, please, Sharon.
Alderwoman Key,
Yes.
Alderman Walls,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Ward,
Yes.
Alderman
Okay.
Bowman.
Yes.
Okay, and then the special call meeting of November the 12th, 2019. Do we have a motion to approve?
I make the motion, Mayor.
I'll second.
Take a vote, please.
Alderwoman Key,
I wasn't here, so I'm going to abstain from it.
Alderman Walls,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Bowman.
Yes.
Yes. We'll move on to discussion and action on the debit and credit cards. The cost includes 3 machines at $125 for each lady in the office. And then 2.7% or $1, whichever is most, added to the customer if we do this service. And other questions from the alderman would be from Business Information Systems in Piney Flat, Hannah Hilton. Yes, so if any of y'all have, any of the aldermen have any comments or questions.
Pretty well straightforward.
Yeah.
Mayor, request to be recognized.
Okay.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
Does this include tech support?
It does come with support. So if someone in the office had an issue processing a payment, they would call and we would help.
Is there a length of that contract?
It's usually for 1 year.
Will we have to pay again next year to maintain the tech support?
No.
So it's rhetorical then, it'll continuously renewed. Because I know a lot of in my job, a lot of my customers, we pay some tech support fees and we have to pay an annual fee to keep certain services. So with the fee that we're being charged here, then we'll continue to receive the tech support contract year over year.
Yes, that's correct. So the fees would be passed on to the payer. The only fees would be for the credit card machines that would be here to stay. The contract would auto-renew with the continued support they would have.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Do any rest of y'all have any questions? Okay. Thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move down to discussion and action.
We're going to
Vote
on this.
Oh, yeah. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve it.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Take a vote, please.
Are you discussing that credit card thing?
It's pretty well straightforward. It's convenience. I mean, there's a lot of people that's been asking for it, and some people that, like you say, they can't afford the high water bills, so they can use their credit card now.
Well,
I mean, it's
we're
the
already
thing.
into the business session.
Right.
So,
Well, it's discussion action.
Well, it's a plus for everybody.
Yes.
okay. Take a vote.
Have a second.
Yeah.
That to pass it on to the customer?
Yes.
The cost on to the customer?
Okay.
David, that's
okay.
enough.
It's enough.
Don't talk to me like that.
Alderman McKee,
Yes.
Alderman Walls,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Bowles.
Okay. We're down to discussion and action on to change the city court from a half a day to one full day per month.
Good evening. I'll give you a little history on this. Several years ago, when we put the traffic cameras in, we had 2 half days of court each month. Well, whenever that settled down, we changed to 1 half day per month. And we are having increasing charges brought through city court. And the reason for that is, if you'll remember, a few months ago, you all passed an ordinance to allow the city court to hear more charges that could be charged. Well, let's say somebody had 3 charges. It could all be charged in city court and could be handled here and wouldn't have to go through state court as well. Plus, we almost got a full complement in our police department, and they are writing a lot of tickets. We're up now that we can't give anybody a court date until March. And also, the property maintenance officer, Kim Birchfield, I'll echo what Ms. Leonard said. You know, in my working with him, he's doing a great job. And those cases, when you have to hear one of those, that takes up more time. So the chief, the mayor, the city clerk, the judge, and I met, and we agreed that it would be better for the officer schedules to have just 1 full day per month. and proposed to start that in March. Along with that comes some expense. The judge currently gets $200 per court meeting, and that would go, if you all approve this, would go to $400 per month. Currently, back when our court was like only an hour and a half, I donated my time, but I'm requesting that I get paid my hourly rate for litigation, just like I do. I mean, for example, when I handle the Moore lawsuit, and very, very little do I bill by the hour. But that's what I would ask, those increased expenditures. And of course, our traffic cameras are going silent on the 8th of January, and this is going to be bringing needed revenue into the town, and I'll guarantee you the tickets are going to go way up after January 8th, because it's, it was like a speedway down there before the cameras came in, and I would ask that you all approve this.
So,
yes.
By doing this, the extra 4 hours we're going to have of court will offset our cost.
The additional charges will, the additional revenue, court costs and fines and so forth coming into the town by this additional activity,
right,
will more than offset the cost.
Now, if we get caught up and the tickets go down for some reason, if we just need to go back to the 4 hours, is that possible?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure if it goes down, but I really don't see that happening.
No, probably not. But I know everybody wants to know.
Yeah. It can be adjusted, however you want it.
Can that be discussed by what you're getting ready to do?
Well, we're already into the business section part of it.
I'm just curious what Paul says there about the extra 4 hours, and he's wanting an increase, which is fine. But what is the increase? What do you charge an hour? Do you do it by the 10?
$150 an hour. Yeah, if we have court in the morning for an hour and a half, it'll be an hour and a half. If we have court in the afternoon for an hour and a half, it'll be an hour and a half. If we have it for 3 hours, just whatever time spent.
But right now, you're thinking we're planning on an 8-hour court day or thereabouts. You're saying we're going from a half a day to a full day. So.
A half day to a full day, and it may not be 8 hours.
Are you usually there the entire time that they're having the court? Or are you present?
Yes.
You're just going to charge Paul for the other 4 hours, and you were paid the first 4 hours? Is that extra?
No, whatever time spent will be what the charge is. Like if it's an hour in the morning, it'll be an hour. If it turns out to be an hour in the afternoon, or if it turns out to be more.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Take a vote, please.
Alderwoman Keith,
Yes.
Alderman Boyles,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Bowden.
Yes.
Okay, we're down to discussion and action to change the internet, cable, and telephone services to BTES for better service. And the service will also include new phones, and because we're having a lot of problems with the old phones. And the current service that we have at this time is CenturyLink and Charter.
Anything.
So, does this include? Is this for cell phones? Or is this just for landlines here in this building?
It's for the internet, cable, and telephone services.
But you said hardware.
Office phones.
It has everything that's included in that.
But it says phones.
Yeah, the office
Yeah,
phones.
that's the
Just
phones.
office phones.
I said it's also
It's not
includes
there's
new
no cell
phones.
phone service in this. It's just
New
landline.
phones.
Is this cheaper?
it's better service.
Yeah,
Because
definitely
we've been
better
having
service.
really bad service with other folks.
Yeah, we had to get away from CenturyLink. They're awful.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Will this include the public workshop?
Public Works, it won't work. It's not changing their phones, it's changing the phones within City Hall.
Okay. But their service will be BTS, though, won't it?
Yes, everything will be, the line phones will all be BTS. So if you don't have any questions, we have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a second.
I'll second that motion, ma'am.
Thank you. Take a vote, please.
Alderwoman Key,
Yes.
Alderman Walls,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Boland.
Yes.
Okay. And the next thing on the agenda, discussion/action, to fix the fence and put in a gate at the water plant. The fence at the water plant is really in bad condition. And Tri-City Fence Company gave us an estimate of $13,095 and Rio Grande $12,744.
That's the whole thing.
Yes.
Would you share Rio Grande's estimate with me? I didn't receive it. Thank you.
Ellen, have you looked over these? Have you looked over the proposals? I didn't know if you have or not. I was going to ask your opinion on them.
Yeah, and
Mayor, are you sure? I don't think that it was to redo the entire perimeter of the plant.
well, there's a diagram
It's to
there
put
that
in
shows you.
It's to put in a new gate there at going into the facility for it to be able to slide back and forth instead of opening up and laying there. And then where we have valves there at the plant, they've had to take that section fence down so many times that it's just destroyed it. So instead of trying to put fence back that we would have tried to take down again, we were proposing to put up another gate so we could slide open if we need to get the backhoe in to dig up valves instead of destroying the fence, because it just tears it up all the way up and down through there. And then I think that the mayor had on there for them to gate off the road. So, but there was not to redo the whole entire perimeter.
And it says something about 50 feet of 6-foot fence.
Yeah, if you look at the diagram. It's on here.
So we trying to figure out which one we want to use, or we just.
Yes.
Are you going?
Which company?
Mayor request to be recognized. So this is a matter of security too, you know, because a water treatment plant is a place that falls under the Homeland Security provisions. Whichever contractor that we use, we need to ensure that quality of work is done. So are both of them ready to go, or is there some lag time on either one of these suppliers? Are they saying they're 3 months out, 6 months out, or
No, they haven't.
ready to go? Okay.
Board, I'm a licensed contractor, and that's $260 a foot, and I'll submit a bid to cut it in half for you, because that's ridiculous.
Well, what you don't see, Ryan, is on here is the sliding gate. Because I thought the same thing as you. I'm gonna go in the fencing business.
I mean, I've done fencing for Lowe's for years.
But I believe in
But they've got the gate and a keypad.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That one that's on the road to keep from having to get out every time. You can just push a security code in, and the gate will open automatically for you to go through.
Mayor, our neighbor Cody Johnson, I know you know Cody, got the cattle in behind our house. His father owned Johnson's Fence Company.
He's closed down.
He has closed his business, and he has a large surplus of fencing material left over. Ma'am, it's sitting right behind my house in Cody.
Okay, we're really into the business section, and the alderman need to make a decision on what they want to do.
Mayor, one more comment, please.
Yes.
In 2003, the gate that's at Allen's shop now, I was part of that bid, and we gave $5,400 for it. I remember it well. So the gate is competitive, for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
You got to decide on which one.
I mean, both the prices are close, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
We're going with $3,000.
Oh, I guess we got to figure who we're going with.
Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper. Okay, we're into the business section of this.
Rio Grande, some cover price. Tri-City does the work herself. And trust me, a lot of times it makes a big difference. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, thank you.
So we're going with Rio Grande? It's the cheaper.
You know about Rio Grande.
I have not done it.
Okay, I make a motion, we go with Rio Grande. How's that?
Okay, do we have a second?
I prefer the other contractor.
Oh, do you?
I do.
You prefer the other contractor?
I prefer the other contractor. After, I did not see the Rio Grande estimate. Unfortunately, it was not in my packet. But now that I've looked at it and I've been able to compare the two, I personally prefer the Tri-Cities.
Alderman Ward, do you feel good about that one? The one you just said?
I mean, I know Rio Grande's been around for a long time,
They have.
but I've not had any experience with it. So if Jeff would rather use,
I'm fine with that, Tri-Cities.
I'm easy to get along with.
So you're changing your motion
Yeah, I'll
to?
change. Yeah, that's fine. I'll change my motion to Tri-City Fence.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second that motion, Mayor.
Okay, take a vote, please.
Alderwoman Key,
Yes.
Alderman Walls,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrington,
Yes.
Alderman Ward,
Yes.
Alderman Bowman.
Yes.
Okay, down to report from the mayor. I would like to bring something to y'all's attention. I'd like to bring the election for 2020 to your attention because the elections, of course, will be held here at City Hall. And so we have 3 elections next year. On March the 3rd, it'll be the presidential and county primary. On August the 6th, it'll be state primary and county general. And then, of course, on November the 3rd, 2020, the presidential and general election. And they, of course, will need to use this building, and it would be starting at 7 a.m. I want to bring to your attention that we close City Hall on each one of those events for the election. So I wanted to make sure you had no objection. Of course, we cannot make a decision about them not having it here. I mean,
And that's one of
that's
our
set
city
in
meetings.
stone. Yeah, so.
And those are our city meeting days, too.
Can that be discussed?
It's really, we can't do anything about it. I mean, we have no choice about it.
We can move it to November the 3rd, and that would save the $3,500 you got to spend. I don't know about the other two.
We don't have an election this year.
I'm talking about 2020. That's what you're talking about.
We don't have an election in 2020. It's 21.
You got in the budget $3,500 for elections in 2020.
It's 21.
21.
It's 2021.
It shows none.
I believe it is 21.
Yeah, it is
You're
21.
right.
It is 21.
Yeah.
You show $3,500.
It'd be 2021 budget.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
2021 budget.
Oh, okay. It's 2021 budget. So it will be like May of 21. So it's 2021 budget. That's correct.
What I was looking at, Irene, was the 2019-2020. That was this one right now, and next year you have $3,500 in 2020. I've got a copy of it.
Okay.
Don't have it.
Huh?
I didn't budget it. No. I budgeted it in 2019. I didn't budget it in 2020.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Anyway, that's what we have. The elections that we have in 2020. Okay, we'll have a report from the city attorney, J. Bob Fry.
We collected approximately $2,500 in delinquent taxes last month, and the second round of tax letters went out today to the delinquent property owners. People are doing a pretty good job paying their taxes, and that helps us out. And also, you all asked me to give you a report on package stores and liquor by the drink.
Yes.
Liquor by the drink is governed by Tennessee Code Annotated 574103, and it requires a referendum election, and the board can vote by 2/3 majority to petition the County Election Commission to hold a referendum, or the citizens can petition the Election Commission to hold a referendum, and that petition would require 10% of the registered voters who voted in the last gubernatorial election to get it on the ballot. And liquor by the drink, the city has very little, almost no regulatory authority over. That's governed by the Alcoholic Beverage Commission, and that's where they get their license through, and that's where all the regulation would be. As far as liquor stores are concerned, that's governed by 57-3-106, and that would require a petition to the Election Commission of 10% of the registered voters that voted in the last gubernatorial election. So both can be citizen-driven. The question for both could actually be on the same ballot. You don't have to do one before you do the other. And the city would have a little, after liquor stores, if it passed in a referendum, the city would have a little bit of regulation. They'd be able to regulate the number, the location, and the distance requirements. And the ABC board would also be over that, the licensure of that.
Would that be the same thing you go through when you say liquor by the drink? Beer also?
No, we already have beer permits.
I know that, but
So a restaurant can serve beer?
But no.
Okay.
That's what I was asking.
No, if this, let's say liquor by the drink passed, we would amend our beer ordinance to coincide, and something I think we'd have to change there would be the hours in our ordinance.
Paul,
yes.
So, beer is defined as 5% alcohol by volume or less in our current ordinance. And, of course, we can't serve it here in town.
Right.
So what I'm getting from you is that we would re-examine both those as far as, because there are many beers on the markets now that, are above 5% alcohol that are being served. And you're saying if we were able to conduct this referendum, then we would be able to go back as a board and examine the beer ordinance and adjust it accordingly.
Yes, we'd have to. Yeah, we'd have to.
Right.
Does anyone else have any questions about this?
And so when would would this be like a special election or a special?
No, they probably put it on one of the elections. I don't think it could be on a primary election ballot.
In our last meeting, you had two people in here wanting to know if there's a possibility if they had a restaurant to be able to serve food in it. When that's supposed to be looked up.
Okay.
I think somebody approached you too about it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, the ordinance
city
would,
gets.
the ordinance would have to, the ordinance have changed.
But we'd have to have the referendum first, though, right?
Well, not necessarily on the beer. I think so.
So we can do the beer now. Then
I think
if we
so.
done liquor by the drink, it'd be the ordinance.
I'd look into that.
So we could do that then.
So beer is already a possibility, possibly.
You're saying to serve it in a restaurant or?
Apparently, that's what he's going to look into it. But
Don't
yeah,
look into it.
we just have to change the ordinance, correct, Paul Fry?
Let me look into it. What we'd have to change on the ordinance, we might have to change our hours too.
But as far as liquor by the drink, we have to have a referendum.
I didn't catch that.
According to liquor by the drink, we have to have a referendum, right?
Yes. Or liquor stores have to have a referendum.
Right.
So if you could serve beer in a restaurant, Paul, that's different than liquor by the drink?
Yeah.
It is different.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the marinas, when you go to the marina.
Yeah.
Okay, does the board members have any other questions?
Thank you. No, I guess we'll just wait till the next meeting and get the rest of the information before we do anything about it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because we'll have to get the ball rolling.
Well, no, the only information, are you talking about the beer? I mean, what other information other than checking on the beer?
Well, I guess that was it.
Okay.
Just to know if it was going to be tied together.
No, I don't think it'd be tied together, but I'll look into it.
So are we wanting to?
We, as a board, could do it 2/3 vote, right?
So we want
A
to.
2/3 vote, but I think what your decision would have to be. Do you want both? Do you want both of them citizen driven? I mean, if you all decide you want both of them citizen driven, I can do a sample petition.
Well, how many people voted in the last? Wasn't that many?
No, I don't have that. I don't have that particular information. I'd have to get that from the election commission. Do you want me to get that information for you
20
too?
signatures, and you can put it on there.
Yeah, it'd be 30 signatures.
Well, I don't think so.
10%.
10%.
10% of the last voting.
The gubernatorial election.
Oh, gubernatorial.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can find that out.
Right.
Maybe 40.
Yeah.
We can obtain those numbers. That's no problem.
Yeah. Election commission.
But then just puts it to the people to vote.
I'll get those. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we'll move to the report from the city recorder, CMFO, Sharon Green.
Fund balances as of October 31st, 2019. General fund, $1,549,265. Sanitation fund, $32,583. Special police fund, $12,467. Debt service fund, $116,384. Sinking fund, $3,095. Water sewer, $634,197. A total fund balance, $2,347,991.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Take a vote, please, Sharon.
Alderwoman Key.
Yes.
Alderman Wood.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrison.
Yes.
Alderman Ward.
Yes.
Alderman Bowles.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move to the comments from the board members. Alderwoman Carl Key.
Hello, everybody. You know, as I sat here and hear the comments, and I just want to take this time to say I'm sorry because I know you didn't get any answers. And also, I will continue to stand up, speak up, and speak out for what is right. I've gone through a lot on this board, and I'm not sitting up here on this board because I want to, but God has placed me here for a reason and a season. And I just want you to know I'm only one vote, but I'm a strong voice, and I'll be an honest voice for each and every one of you all. And when I said I seconded Alderman Boyles, I was letting my friend back there know that I was standing with him because I understand where he's coming from. Okay? And, you know, so many times people say the mayor this, the mayor that. Don't put all the blame on the mayor because the board allows it. The board allows it. The board has power over the city manager. So the board allows. So don't blame the mayor. She can only do what the board allows. And also, I like to say this. I want to echo something from a very strong man that had guts, a backbone, integrity, and he stood for what is right. And this is what he said. In 2019, when you were dancing with the angels, and they asked you, what did you do? Did you take a stand for what is right, or did you just sit back and go along with the crowd? I'd like to wish each and every one a very Merry Christmas. And hang in there, take notes, election's coming again.
Alderman Jeff Broyles.
Good evening, town family. I don't need that microphone. I tell you, being up here is hard work. Y'all can think what you do, but, you know, I can tell you that there are some folks that are sitting up here at this bench that really want the right thing. Sometimes we don't know exactly what that is. Sometimes we have to check legally to make sure it is the right thing, but it isn't because we don't want to help somebody. I can tell you that. And, you know, in regard to this board's performance, you know, we've got a lot of things done here in the last little while. It's so slow. It's so frustrating to me sometimes. But just stay the course. Stay the course we're trying. And I just want to bless y'all and wish you a very Merry Christmas and offer my service if you need me.
Vice Mayor Ray Harrington.
Yes, I'll reiterate everything that Jeff and Carol has said. We're getting things done. It's like you said, sometimes our hands are tied. And if you do one for the others, it contradicts everything you've ever done. So we're getting things done. We're moving forward, and things are getting done. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and hopefully we'll see y'all next year.
Alderman Derek Ward.
Thanks for everybody coming out and putting up with us. And maybe we can get something done about this 3-minute rule and some other things that we've got done with the back-to-back with the water leaks in a month. But again, thanks for coming out, and everybody have a good Christmas. We'll see you next year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I hope it'll be happy. I'll have a house done. I'll be happy.
Mm-hmm. Alderman Richard Bowling.
I'm glad to see everybody come out. Appreciate it, and appreciate all the comments that we had. I know the board has learned some stuff tonight, and probably the citizens has too, and I hope they have. And I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you. We'll move to report from the city officials and county commissioners. Chief Greg Depew is not with us tonight. In his place will be Shane Watson, the patrol sergeant.
Good evening, Mayor, Board.
Good evening.
Just want to share some stats for the month of November from the police department. In November, we answered 153 calls for service, issued 208 citations, 82 warning citations. We patrolled 6,648 miles, made 12 arrests. We did 9 offense reports, answered 4 alarms for businesses, worked a total of 7 accidents, 3 animal calls. We did 15 universal reports, which is something that doesn't require an arrest. Did 2 funeral escorts, 3 domestics, arrested for 1 DUI, and we had 7 drug violations, which were arrested. Earlier today, myself and Officer Toller attended a year-end meeting for the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. As any of you, the board members and mayor already know, the police department's very proactive for child passenger safety. I want to give a shout out to our guys. We were recognized for the second year in a row for the Partner Agency of the Year. This covers from Knoxville all the way to Northeast Tennessee. So I'm very proud of our guys for that.
Hey. Thank you. Then the Public Works Supervisor, Alan Mortry.
Good evening, Mayor, Board. In the sewer department, the sewer pump stations are operating well, with there being one sanitary sewer overflow in the month of November. We are still receiving some infiltration into the sewer system, but just from what we've seen as of lately, we've seen significant improvement resulting in fewer high well level alarms. So we are making progress in that respect. We performed our first round of smoke testing back in March of 2017, and we went ahead and started our second round, which started in September of this year, 2019. We did find that some homeowners still haven't removed their gutterings from the sewer system, so I just would ask that any homeowners that don't know how their guttering is ran, you may want to find that out, because by time we get everything in order, if your guttering is still attached, we do have the leeway to detach it if it's installed into the sanitary sewer system. But other than that, we are still churning along. We still got a long ways to go, but improvements are being made. As in the street department, the staff has been working hard trying to keep up with leaf and brush pickup all around town. As the winter season gets into full swing, we ask those who park their vehicles along the roadway to park vehicles well off the roadway, so it's a little bit safer for us to do our plowing and salting. Other than that, if you all have any questions, feel free to ask me at this given moment.
Doing a great job.
Yeah, doing a good job, Al.
All right. Right. Thank you, y'all. Have a happy holiday.
Okay. Next is the water plant operator, Tina Grindstaff.
Well, the water plant currently is down. I'm getting ready to have to leave here. I'm going to the plant to get it back up and running. But from the high rains that we had, I mean, it was very heavy, and the turbidity got so high that the plant shut down. We had another problem with it from where the water tank got full, and it shut it down. When the plant shuts down, it's not easy to get it back up and running. Once it's running, it runs good, but starting it back up takes a little bit of work and some hard. Well, it's very hard to get the air out. Even if you got air relief valves on there, it's very hard to get it out, especially in colder weather. So we're seeing a little bit more problems with the air and trying to relieve it out of the plant. But as you know, we're working with engineers and trying to make plans for upgrades that's going to take care of a lot of those issues. So currently, plant is down, but I will have it up here. It'll probably take me all night, but I'll have the plant running by morning. So, but I'm pretty sure that we also have a few leaks that we need to find. But to get that done, we need to get the booster pump station replumbed. The mayor has allowed us to get the parts to get that done. So hopefully maybe tomorrow we can get that done and I can get out in the system and start hunting leaks. We got enough pressure gauges now and things that we can locate them. So in the next few days, you probably see a lot of trucks out, hopefully making repairs after I locate these, but that's where we're at on that. So, but I would be very interested in seeing your filter. Okay, I would. I'd like to kind of see what's going on.
I'll take pictures right before I hang up. I tried to show her what's sitting in the bottom of the filter system.
I'll get your number. Can I come by?
Yeah, she works from home.
Okay.
She's a go-getter. I'll take her to work and go get her.
I would like to take a close look at that. But I see what you're talking about. I'd like to look at that, okay?
Okay, does any of y'all have any questions?
I've got one. Is it when the temperature level gets high, does the plant automatically shut down?
Yes, in the ladder logic, which is the programming of the plant, we could actually run longer at higher NTU now with the new filter media and things that we have. But the company that wrote the ladder logic for the plant did not leave me any leeway to override things like I should be able to. Okay? I should be able to go in there and change those settings, but I don't have that ability. So with the upgrades, that's one of the things we're going to be able to do, to where I can actually go in and say, okay, you know, we've increased this, so we can run a little bit longer here, make some tweaks, but right now we don't have that ability. So when it hits a certain NTU, it shuts the plant down automatically. Yeah. Yeah, and we're talking on the raw side. It'll do it on the finish too, but it'll do it on the raw, so it'll shut down before your plant is in violation of the state. So, yeah.
So
But
if
we
it just gets hot during the night, nobody around, he'll go ahead and shut down.
Yes, and then the alarm goes off and we're notified, and then I'll come in and check it, or Alan does, or whatever. But we'll come in. But yeah, but the ladder logic needs to be redone. It's not the best in the world because it does not allow you to modify things the way you need to. So, but I'm happy with it when it's running. I really am. I am. But getting it there is a little hard, and then, like I say, getting the ladder logic fixed and the programming will be a lot better. Okay?
Anybody else have any questions? Or?
Thank you for your hard
Thank you.
But I would like to say one more thing. Anybody, if you all have water quality problems, if you get taste, odor, discolored water, call in. But also, grab a sample of it. Don't take a dirty bucket or something, but take a glassware or a mason jar or anything and grab a sample of it. Because lots of times you may see dirty water and you call in the next day. Well, it's already gone. So I come out there, I'm not going to be able to look at it. So I'm not going to be able to know what area it's coming from or what might be the cause. Okay? So I always try to get a collection of it so I can take a look at it. Okay? And just pass that around. Makes it a lot easier for me.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And we don't have a commissioner here, so we'll move on.
Since we had a commissioner show up.
It's been a while. They have in their meetings, some of their meetings, at the same time we have our meeting.
I seen Joaquin yesterday, and he said he was going to be here.
Okay, do you have any old business?
I want to, what do we need to do to address the 3 minute? Because I agree, this gentleman here being cut off at 3 minutes.
Exactly.
That's not right. I mean,
Mr. Fry, do you want to say that?
Take the whole 6 minutes in the beginning.
Wait a minute. Let Mr. Fry talk.
Well, we have an order that is, it's either a resolution or ordinance, I can't remember now. It was put in place back when Mayor Thomas was mayor. Let's get a copy of that and distribute it to everyone, and you all be thinking how you want to change it. Just from my perspective and going to other meetings and so forth and so on, you might want to give people more time on the front end and eliminate the second end. Or, that would be a suggestion.
Or eliminate the front, just have it at the end.
Well,
that way they've got time to comment on stuff that we've talked about during the meeting.
Well, the reason you have it on the front end is so people can make comments before you vote on something that's on the agenda.
Okay. Yes.
So, I think we absolutely need it on the front end from a transparency and information.
Because this is the only time people get to come and share their concerns. This is the only time, and then they can't even get out what they want to say because they're cut off just like that.
Well, let's look at the resolution or ordinance. It can be distributed to you before the next meeting, not with the packets, but we'll just look it up and distribute it to you. And, just look at how you all want to do it. I mean, there may be other things here that you want to look at as well.
Okay. Does anyone else have any comments on the old business? We'll move to new business. Does anybody have a comment?
Well, new business, I'd just like to say this, that I hope this coming year that we all can work together and do what's right.
Okay. Citizen comments, the last section. Anybody that wants to speak, give your name and address. And,
3 minutes.
It's supper time.
Okay. Oh. They had billed me $1,500 on the water and sewer usage for the unit number 10 at Ridgeview Circle. And I don't know if anyone knows what's the largest residential water bill has been. This bill said there were 62,000 gallons run, which would fill 3 swimming pools. That's just some food for thought.
Was that just in 1 month?
Yes. And when I learned about it, the water department asked Alan to come up, and he did, and he looked at it while I was there, and it wasn't running. There's a gremlin somewhere, whether it's electronic, whether it's computer, don't know, but it's there because of all the tenants that I have that have their say about it. And from what I've heard tonight, there's something amiss somewhere. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So I won't take up any more time. This man's done everything he can do. Chip, did you put a new meter in there?
Yes, sir.
We got that done. Okay. All right. So all the water that was supposed to have went through there, it didn't. It didn't. But I'm asking the board tonight to consider making some type of adjustment. That bill, it indicates on the bill, the printout for the whole year, that 5 times there was no usage at all, and the minimum bill was paid every month.
Is it hooked to a house?
It's a townhouse unit. Yes, there are 30 units in this complex. 30 that are mine.
So there's 30 units hooked to number 10, or number 10 is just hooked to one of the
Yeah,
30?
there's 1 through 35. Okay, I didn't do an 11 and a 12. I skipped 13 and went 1 up to 10. Then it jumps to 14 and 15. Then it goes 16 all the way up to 35. So.
But each unit's got its own meter.
Its own meter.
Okay, that's what I was wanting to know.
Yeah. Okay.
Is anybody living in number 10?
Yeah, that's my son. That's my son. And he still lives at home, but he's got a place to live.
Right.
That's why there's basically no usage on that meter. And so this is my only recourse, is to have something looked at about the gremlins or whatever the problem is. That's why I'm asking for an adjustment of some kind. But I'm going to give you some food for thought. And this has to do with computers and electronics. And you've probably never heard what you're about to hear. In the 80s, I had a commercial office building in Bristol. The people were having all kinds of computer problems. They told me to get a hold of the electric system. I did. They brought the equipment out there, and they left it for a week. They couldn't find anything wrong. One day, for whatever reason, I was out back looking at it. It was running backwards. That's just food for thought for you guys. Things happen. And I like y'all to be...
The people that the manufacturer of these water meters when Corey had a question on it. And they said when these things start wearing out, it's like a wobble device in there. It wobbles that makes it spins the dials. He said when those things wear out, it won't charge you more water than what you're getting, but you will actually get more water than what you're being charged. So actually it benefits the consumer or the homeowner when these things do wear out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to be cutting your meter off at night, because somebody may go there and...
No, there's no way to get water other than inside the unit. Yeah, there's not. So the problem's there, and I hope you people be open-minded and help us out on this.
Have you already had one adjustment this year?
No, maybe on another unit. I remember.
But not on this one.
I remember the last one I put in, we had a line from the meter to the unit developed a leak. It was 3/4 PVC. So I dug up the parking lot and put in PEX pipe, continuous, and no more problems. And I called the city and asked them to look, see what I was doing. They come up there and checked it out, and everything's fine. Got the water back going and so forth and so on. But, there's things like that happen.
So has there been an adjustment on this one this year?
No, it went through the meter. I mean,
right.
Everybody can come and request an adjustment, but if it's going through the meter, I meant.
Right.
But $1,500?
$1,500 and some odd dollars, yes.
There's no way.
Come on.
I actually
That's
thought
not
we
much.
were spinning when I read the water meter, so at some point the meter was spinning, just to be quite frank.
Well, I did some calculations on it. And if a commode, that's a normal thing, will run, then people will hear it naturally. If one runs continuously for 24 hours a day, for 7 days, it uses a little over 3,000 gallons. And who in the right mind is going to let the water run like that? What do you got?
Me. I had a rental. I went and flushed the toilet. I was mowing the grass, and I used the restroom, flushed it, and left. Went back to mow and went back in a month later.
Yeah.
The flapper was laying on the other side of the toilet. It
Yeah.
ran for a month.
Well, I've seen pretty much all of it
I
myself.
don't remember. 3, 4, 5. I don't remember. It may not have run a whole month. It may just run 3 weeks. It had to have been at least 3 weeks.
It runs a lot more water than a person actually.
How much more was your water bill?
Oh, it was quite a bit higher.
Okay, yeah, it would be, yeah.
I paid it. It was my, stupid is, stupid does. I paid it.
Yes, you have to, something like that.
Okay, is there anyone else that has a comment?
I had a question. Attorney Fry, when you said those cameras would go silent, is that what you said?
They'll go off.
You're-
They'll go off.
Yeah.
You're not going to use them anymore?
The contract's up.
No.
The contract's up. I just wondered.
Right. Timothy Hill and all that
Are you going to
legislation.
renew it?
We can't.
Worked on it for 4 years till they got it done.
Yeah. Timothy Hill, isn't it? It's got the legislation and stuff to do away with them. That's how he got elected. That's how he got elected. That was his platform.
Okay, is there anyone else has a comment?
I'm just not real clear on things. I come up here and I petition the board looking for help. Mr. Slagle's come up here and he's petitioned the board looking for help. This lady here, I've seen her numerous times. I'll be honest with you. If I lived where she lived, burn. Mr. Fry comes down here, and I'm asking because I don't understand. But Mr. Fry comes down here, brings something to your all's attention about moving a court date from a half a day to a full day. You all take a vote on it and pass it. What is the difference from a citizen bringing an issue to the board and Mr. Fry bringing one to the board? You all vote on his, but you don't vote on anything other than what's on that.
I'll answer your question, Mr. Bryan, and I think I had said it before. When you say y'all, no, I'm one person, I'm one vote. And the thing about it is, as I've often said, it takes 3. And the mayor makes the decisions. She's the city manager. This board has given her the power to do that. Okay? So don't say y'all because I don't agree with that. And your concerns, I agree with you. You should have more than 3 minutes. And I stand with the people. I stand for what is right, and I think you know I do.
Right.
And I understand where you're coming from, and I wish I could help you. But I'm only one vote.
Right.
Mr. Fry just a few minutes ago told everybody in the room that they was going to give you the information and y'all could take it home, study it, and then come back before the board and decide on what you want to do as far as those
I will
3
speak
minutes
to Mr.
and
Hardy
3
again
minutes.
because I called him today, but he wasn't in. Because the way I understand, you can bring up for a motion, and it only takes 2 people to second it, and we can vote it in.
No, the way I kind of understood it, I thought they were going to look at your bill where it was 2 consecutive months. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see how it's worded in the ordinance.
And then, as far as that gentleman's bill, they'll have to that'll be with the water department and the billing to see what they can do for him as far as maybe getting him an adjustment on number 10.
Right. I understand that. My question is I've seen a lot of citizens come to the podium and approach the board, city council, and ask for something, and it's always, well, we'll look into it and get back with you. But tonight, I seen Mr. Fry leave the stand, come to the podium, present a proposal to the board, and it was voted on by the city council and passed through.
The board don't have any authority to change water bills. We don't have authority to do that.
I'm not referring to my water bills. I'm asking, how does a citizen come before the board, spend their 3 minutes petitioning the board for something, and get the board to vote on it?
The board don't have any authority to do any adjustments on that. It's all goes to the city manager. That does.
And that's because the board give the city manager the power to do it.
Basically, to answer your question, that when a citizen comes to the podium with their concerns like the slippery road and stuff like that, we look into it over this month, and then by the next meeting, we will have an answer either per se through us, through Irene, or through Paul Fry, who has given us legal advice whether that we can do it or that we can't do it by state regulations or by codes and all this stuff. So there's some things that we can't do it like that we have to go through due process before we do anything. And Paul Fry, what he come to the podium, was already brought before us that we knew that this was going to happen because the court, whenever somebody gets a ticket now, it's put off to March. So we had to be done, and we knew it was coming to this and stuff, so it was already brought to us before tonight. We already knew that.
That's the answer I was looking for.
That's what I was trying to get, because this is just hearsay. They're just not beating around the bush. You're wanting to know your answer, and there's your answer.
Right. That's what I want to know.
Yes.
How it works. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Whew.
Is there anyone else, or do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Take a vote, please, John.
Yes.
Bush.
Yes.
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 Yes.